Hey, what's up guys? I wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about the speed focus training that we're doing regarding our pressing cycle. So right now we are doing a pretty hefty dose of upper body pressing. We're actually pressing 4 days per week, which is a lot. So what we need to do is we need to be smart about how we're training. So that is why one of those training days each week is a speed focus. It's where we're able to keep the weight relatively light and focus on moving it fast. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of why we're doing that. Got a little bit of feedback of like, hey, this doesn't feel super challenging. I feel like I could go way heavier. And that's actually perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for that day. The weights should be giving you a little bit of pushback, but you should totally feel like you could load that much heavier. It's kind of one of those just because you can doesn't mean you should scenarios. And I hope that this board of numbers and chicken scratching will help you understand why. So the idea here is that by focusing on moving the bar and that load a little bit faster, we're actually going to get a higher power output than we would moving the load slower. And the advantage of the lighter weight is that it doesn't beat us up as bad. Since we are pressing 4 days a week, it is important, like I just said. So what I've done here is I've kind of created an example. We're going to use the bench press because that is what we focused on this week for our speed session. And we're only going to be focusing on the concentric range of motion, meaning the part from the chest to locking the bar out. That's the only part we're going to focus on. And I'm going to estimate that at 2 feet. And I'll be honest, all through here, these are all just estimated numbers as far as times and all that kind of stuff, but it should give you an idea of why we're doing this. So concentric range of motion, 2 feet. If we're focusing on that speed, we're just gonna say it's gonna be a 1 second rep on the way up. And if we weren't focusing on speed and kind of just moving at a normal pace, or if the load was heavy and we weren't able to move it fast, we're gonna say it was just a second and a half, so a half second more. So on these speed focus loads, so for example, today's Thursday, we did that 10 sets of 3 at 65%. Bench press yesterday. If your 65% was supposed to be 100 pounds, then this is what it would equal. At the end, it would equal 2,000 total foot-pounds moved here. So the way we get this is we have a 100-pound barbell, and we're moving that 6 total feet per set, right? So we're moving 2, 4, 6, because there's 3 reps. Then we divide that by how long it took to move each rep. So 600 divided by 3 gives us 200 foot-pounds. And that across 10 sets equals 2,000 as our power output. So in that 10 sets of 3, none of those sets of 3, if 100 pounds is your true 65%, none of that should feel that heavy. You know, maybe the 3rd rep of each set gets a little bit challenging, but I mean, we're not even in the ballpark of failing. So you can see the math is clear right there. Now, if we didn't follow this protocol and we decided that we wanted to do kind of a more traditional like building style, and just for example, I've done, assuming that your 65% was 100 pounds, I've done 85, 85, 95, 95, 105, 105, 115, 115, 125, 125. So as you can see, our first 4 sets are under 65%. And then these next 6 sets are over, with the last few being like significantly heavy. And what I've done here is just the straight math. This comes out to 113, 113, 126, 126. So you can see we're not even touching these numbers over here. Obviously these are a little bit lighter, but even down here at the 125, 125, assuming that it takes us a full 1.5 seconds to move that load, we're still hitting only 166 on each one of these. So we're not creating as much power, and it's a heavier load, and it's taking longer, therefore more time under tension, and it's probably beating us up a little bit more. Now, this type of training down here has some awesome benefits, and we'll get to that when we get into more of a strength-focused phase, but right now we're trying to combine a nice blend of hypertrophy with speed and power. So, and especially with pressing 4 days a week, I'm not trying to just absolutely destroy your shoulders. So the total math that we get down here is 1396. Now that isn't taking into consideration that the first 4 sets are lighter. So you would actually probably be able to move those a little bit faster. So I've gone ahead and done that math. And as you can see, we get up to 190, which is close over here. But those first, 4 sets are a little bit lighter. So that total math comes out to 1638, which is still below our 2000. Now this is best case scenario because I'm guessing by the time you get to these these 115s, 125s, which are, getting closer to like 85, maybe even 90% down here, I doubt you're looking at a 1.5 second rep anymore. That's probably getting like, 1.75 or maybe even 2 seconds on the way up for that last rep. And this power output is just tanking. So this number is probably actually significantly lower because even though you can move those lighter ones fast, what we're trying to do is we're trying to stay in this middle ground because it gives us enough feedback or enough resistance, but still allows us to put power into it. So I hope this gives a little bit of clarity of why we're looking for you to stick with those prescribed weights and move each rep with intention and move it fast rather than starting lighter or even starting at your prescribed weight and building up over time. Because at the end of the day, you're actually gonna get more work done over here and not feel as beat up. So like I said, there's a time and place for going a little bit heavier and getting into those mid ranges, but that's not what we're looking for right now.